Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rita Fleming. I'm a regenerative health specialist, and today we're talking about the endocrine system. And this is one of my favorite subjects because you don't often hear about it a lot, but it's such an important system. And there's so many ways that we can take care of it on a daily basis. So go ahead and just drop a 1 in the comments if you're really familiar with the endocrine system, and a 2 if you don't know much about the endocrine system. I know I didn't know much about it before I started studying regenerative health. Yeah, lots of 2s. Cool. So your endocrine system is your master computer system of your body. It's what impacts all of your hormone regulation. So your brain communicates to your pituitary gland. So we have our pituitary gland, which communicates to all of the rest of your endocrine system. So your thyroid, your parathyroid, your adrenal glands, your ovaries, your pancreas is an endocrine and exocrine gland. And so it's important to really support all of our endocrine system on a daily basis. So let's just go through some of our endocrine system so you can learn a little bit more about it. And this is fun and helpful because it's basically a map that allows you to see what systems, what areas in my body can I really focus on and support. So for instance, we talked about the pituitary gland. One of the things that it does is it increases your thyroid hormone secretion. So it really impacts your thyroid health. It also impacts your adrenal glands, your skin pigmentation. It impacts your melanin production. Also impacts your estrogen in your body, as well as your testosterone production. So they're really important for our hormonal health. Also really important, like for mothers, impacting, milk production and so many other things. And then we have our thyroid gland, which so many of us know it impacts our metabolism, our ability to really have growth and development in the body. It also impacts our hair. So if we're experiencing hair loss, that's a reflection of our thyroid health, our ability to regulate temperatures. For instance, if you go somewhere cold and you're just so uncomfortable, that's our body's ability to regulate our own temperatures comes back to our thyroid health. So if you get cold easily or hot easily, that really is a reflection of how our thyroid is doing. Let me just mute everybody. And then we have our parathyroid gland. So my family is a classic example of parathyroid gland weakness. And your parathyroid gland impacts like your calcium utilization, which is all of your bone and connective tissue. So for instance, scoliosis is actually a reflection of a parathyroid gland weakness. And so you can really address that by supporting your parathyroid gland. Low blood calcium levels. So like osteoporosis, the breakdown of bones, a lack of vitamin D synthesis, that also comes back to your parathyroid health. Wrinkly skin has to do with your parathyroid, varicose veins, anything to do with your bone and connective tissue all reflects back to this gland. So again, so important to take care of it, as well like sagging skin, prolapsed organs, parathyroid health. Your adrenal glands, you might know a little bit more about. We have done some more in-depth discussion on them, but those sit on top of your kidneys and they impact everything from your nervous system health, like long-term adrenal weakness. We start to see, chronic conditions like MS and Parkinson's and neurological weaknesses as a result. So it's so important to take care of your adrenal glands because these things show up usually like 20 years after the fact that our adrenals have been needing love and nourishment and support. So I really love to work with all the systems of the body on a daily basis. Your adrenal glands also impact your body's ability to regenerate tissue. So addressing inflammation in the body, tissue recovery. This is so important for athletes, or if you just had a surgery or any kind of injury, your adrenal glands take a huge role in repairing your tissues and addressing that inflammation. They also impact your electrolyte absorption and regulation, which is important for the hydration in our body. So if we're dealing with excessive thirst, like, oh my gosh, I just cannot drink enough water, I'm not getting hydrated, that's a reflection of the adrenal glands needing support. And, dehydration not only leads to inflammation, but wrinkles, it impacts your skin health. So also very important, your adrenal glands not only impact your water absorption, but they impact all of the different tissues in your body, from your heart, your vascular system, your metabolism, your ability to absorb and metabolize carbohydrates and amino acids and fats. So your adrenal glands really impact every single system in your body. Next, we have our pancreas. And a lot of you will know that our pancreas produces the hormone insulin, which increases that transport and use of glucose, so impacting our sugar, amino acid, and our fat metabolism. So this is really important for healthy blood sugar levels. Your pineal gland impacts your body's ability to produce melatonin, which helps you to go to sleep. So that's really important, impacting all of your sleep-wake cycles. Your ovaries impact, your estrogen production, which is really important for uterine health and female reproductive health. Your ovaries also produce progesterone, which is actually an anti-inflammatory hormone, which is used for tissue repair. So having healthy ovaries helps with that estrogen and progesterone balance, which is really important. And then the thymus gland is part of your immune system. So it's really important for the white blood cell production, and to really support your immune system, we have to have a healthy thymus gland. So those are the few of the components. And let's talk about how we can support a healthy endocrine system. And my favorite way is nutrition. So our cells are being replaced daily. 330 billion cells are replaced daily, which is about 1% of our cells. And about 80 to 100 days, 30 trillion cells have been replaced and replenished, which is really an equivalent of a new you. So we often say it takes, between 21 days or so to create a new habit, and then about 90 days for you to maintain that habit and actually to transform your body. And so that's also at the cellular level of what's happening. So the best things for your endocrine system are your greens, your green foods, and your fruits. So unlimited whole food, fresh fruits and veggies are really important for your endocrine system. And, also working at that cellular health level is so important. So your fresh fruits and your veggies and your seaweeds and your herbs all nourish your endocrine system. So you want to get an unlimited amount of those. And then they also support your cellular health, because as we've learned in past classes, your fresh fruits and your veggies and your superfoods and your herbs all really produce an alkaline environment in the body, which supports cellular absorption. And our endocrine system and our glands are only as healthy as our cells are. So the other component is really working with your gut microbiome health, because all health starts in the gut. And if we have like a leaky gut, from toxins, from glyphosate, from different exposures, that's going to leak into our immune system or our lymphatic system, which impacts the health of all of our endocrine system. So having, really addressing the gut microbiome to me is the first step in producing a healthy endocrine system. Because if those toxins are spilling into our blood, it's going to impact the health and the quality of that endocrine system. So the first thing that we want to do when, say, for instance, repairing the thyroid gland or the parathyroid gland or the adrenals is make sure that we're eliminating toxins out of the body versus spilling toxins into the body. So addressing that gut microbiome, supporting the kidney filtration, which is your elimination system, to strengthen all of your cells and your tissues. And then we want to make sure that we're supporting each of the endocrine system. And so like kelps and seaweeds are amazing. Berries, unlimited berries are incredible for your endocrine system. They contain the highest electrical energy to support that nervous system and support those endocrine glands. And then the next is to avoid foods that are going to be congestive to our endocrine system. And that is particularly processed foods, processed sugars, and also dairy really creates congestion in those endocrine tissues, specifically like your thyroid gland. And that mucus congestion is what creates that underfunctioning, that underperforming of our glands and tissues, and creates an environment where those glands can become hyper functioning or hypo functioning, under functioning. And so by cleaning up the tissues, then we start to strengthen and oxygenate all of the cells and the organs. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to address as far as the endocrine system. It's so important. I have a little endocrine map that I'm happy to send you all, but basically you can check out what symptoms am I dealing with? Like, am I dealing with anxiety, or am I dealing with a lot of inflammation in my body, or cysts or fibroids? All of that comes back to a specific endocrine system, specific system in our body. So it's really important to look at. If you're having trouble sleeping, that has to do with your adrenal glands and your pineal gland. So I'm happy to send that map over. And then what we're working with here as a collective and as a community is flooding our body with this nutrient dense superfoods. So flooding your body with 12 servings a day, at least, of your fresh fruits and your veggies and your sea vegetables to get that alkaline environment. And then supporting that gut microbiome, which again is the foundation of having a healthy endocrine system. So supporting that to repair our tight junctions so that we don't have a leaky gut, which is going to obviously impact the health of our endocrine system. And then supporting that alkaline environment to oxygenate all of our cells to make sure we're getting that cellular absorption and nourishment. Yes, I can definitely send that over to you all. And then we're working, like, for instance, with the pineal gland, we're working with a tart cherry juice to support the body's natural production of melatonin. And that supports the repair of that pineal gland. And then we have amazing herbs such as Be Energetic, which is my absolute favorite adrenal support. And when we're dealing with like any kind of adrenal weakness, that's when we start to see, on an emotional level, it's hard to cope with stress, or we're dealing with excessive shyness, not wanting to go out into the world, or we're seeing a lot of inflammation in our joints and our tissues, or male or female reproductive issues, specifically, cysts and fibroids, and things of that nature are due to adrenal weakness. So I personally take adrenal support every single day. It's so important for me. It's so important for my nervous system. It's really important for combating stress. So that is on my daily go-to. And then some of the other things that I love for endocrine system support is our super meal, which contains amazing herbs for endocrine system function. It again is my top formulation and my favorite formulation. We also have our white American ginseng, which is important for endocrine system health and function. And then again, just flooding your body with those fresh antioxidants, fruits, phytonutrients, minerals, and vitamins that come from whole foods. So what we're working with is foods that are grown in nutrient dense soils. And as a result, the foods have more nutrition, more nutritional value, more minerals, more vitamins that your body uses to support all of these different organs and tissues. So that's really important. And then we're working with amino acids. And the amino acids are really important for hormone balance, serotonin production, bone and connective tissue health, like really supporting that parathyroid gland. But also it's so important for endocrine function. So taking those on a daily basis. And what's really nice about those as well is you'll take them first thing in the morning, and that helps your body from going into stress mode. Oftentimes, if we forget to eat in the morning or we're just not really a breakfast person, what happens is your cortical steroids can get shot up, meaning your body goes into a fight or flight response, which actually creates deeper adrenal weakness. And so having your aminos first thing in the morning, it allows your body to still be in a fasting state, but it's going to balance out those hormones so you don't go into a fight or flight response, which is so awesome. So that's what I do personally on a daily basis, is working with like the core 4, working with the 30-day transformation and ULT, and that supports that endocrine function. Another area that I love to work on is, I was speaking how the brain and nervous system impacts your pituitary health, and your pituitary gland impacts every single other organ and tissue in all of your glands. And so I like to also work with our Revive It All, which impacts your brain and nervous system health and regulation. And I'm about to get mine in. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So whenever I'm helping someone in their health, the first thing I go to is a questionnaire. What symptoms are you dealing with? And what endocrine system is that a reflection of? And how can we support it through whole foods, through nutrition, through herbs, through superfoods, so that the body can regenerate? Because again, we are just a reflection of what we're eating, what we're putting into our body, what we're breathing in, what we're putting on our skin, and also what our body is not properly eliminating. So if our body's elimination systems are not working, the body does build up with toxicity in the lymphatic system, which will shut down our endocrine system from its proper functioning. So this is how it's all just interconnected. You just want to flood your body with nutrient dense foods and get your elimination organs working properly to get that proper endocrine system function. And then finally, just adding in endocrine supportive herbs are going to take it to that next level, which is where I really like to work. And I'd love to open it up to questions. I know that's a lot of information, but do you have questions on any specific system, or do you have any? Yeah, what are your questions? And sorry, before I open it up to questions, I do want to mention to all of the guests that are on this call, we are part of an amazing community. We're working collectively together to share education and information and provide solutions, and health, provide solutions and financial well-being, and also in planetary health. And so if you want to join us, in any of those missions, or particularly in your own health journey, we're here for you. We're all here for you. We work as a community, and just get back to the person that invited you to this call so that you can learn more, and see if you want to do one of our programs with us, or if you want to help people in this way. Awesome. So I'll open it up.